Good afternoon, dear students of grade 9. We're going to be on a seminar for units 9 and 10. At the beginning, allow me to introduce my colleagues in the studio, Ms. Najla Al-Dbesi, English language teacher, Damascus Countryside Directorate. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Majid.
And Mr. Abdelmanam Al-Amin, English language supervisor, Aleppo Directorate.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Dear students, we hope you get benefit from what we are going to introduce to you. They are going to be Units 9, Emergency and Rescue, and Unit 10, Journeys. We're going to start with the grammar of Unit 9, Emergency and Rescue. Ms. Najla Al-Dbesi is going to start. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you. Good evening, dear students. Today we are going to talk about the grammar in these two units, 9 and 10. And let us start by talking about the passive. We use the passive, in fact, when we want to, when we don't know the doer, or we want to focus on the action itself, not who did it. Now, present simple passive. In the active, for example, if I have how to make present simple passive, first we put the object of the active sentence at the beginning of the passive sentence.
Yes.
Second, we change the main verb of the active sentence into past participle, which means the third form of the verb. Thirdly, between them we put am or is or are, which are verbs to be in present, according to the object, dear students.
Okay. So, to summarize what you said, we use the passive when we first do not know the agent.
Yes.
Or the importance is on the object, not on the subject.
Yes.
Or we do not know the doer of the action.
Yes.
The stages you mentioned is with all tenses, the same procedure. We take the object to the beginning.
Yes.
And we change the main verb into verb 3 or past participle.
Exactly.
Between them, we use verb to be. Since this is the present simple passive, we use am or is or are.
Yes.
Mr. Abdelmanam, you're going to tell us about some examples of these tense, please.
Okay, for example, he eats apples. Now the object is apples. We write the object apples at the beginning of the sentence. Then we change the verb eats into past participle, becomes eaten. Between the object and the past participle, we see that apples are plural, so we put are.
Yes.
It becomes apples are eaten.
Yes.
And because, as Ms. Najla said, because the subject is not known, the doer is not known, so we don't put by, we put only full stop.
If we know the agent, if we know the
for
doer of the
example,
action,
Samir eats apples. For example, we say apples are eaten by Samir.
yes.
Okay.
And here we have, if the doer of the action is known, we put it at the end of the passive sentence, preceded with
By, and we have here an example. Tom eats apples, becomes apples are eaten by Tom.
by Tom.
Yes.
So when we have the agent, when we have the agent in the sentence, we know the doer of the action, we put it
At the
end of the sentence
after by.
preceded with by.
Yes.
This is if the doer is known and important.
Yes.
If the doer is he, so we neglect it, not needed to put. If someone put it, it's not wrong, but no need to put it at the end.
Yes.
We go to the following slide, the present continuous passive. Ms.
Yes.
Najla, please.
Yes. How to make the present continuous passive, dear students? The same stages of the same steps.
Yes.
Follow, please. First, we put the object of the active sentence at the beginning of the passive sentence. Second, we change the main verb, as usual, of the active sentence into past participle. Third, between them, we put being after the verb to be, according to the object.
So all the continuous tenses, the present continuous or
And
the
the
past
past continuous,
we
yes.
use being. We use being after verb to be,
Yes.
according to the object, which is going to be at the beginning
Yes.
of the sentence. Mr. Abdelmanam Amin, please give us examples about the present continuous passive.
For example, we say he is eating apples. Now we look at the sentence. The object is apples. we write it at the beginning of the sentence, of the passive sentence. Then we change the verb eating into past participle becomes eaten. Then we add am or is or are. Apples takes are. Then we add being. So the full sentence in the passive becomes apples are being eaten. And we put full stop. Because here the doer or the subject is not known in the sentence.
Yes.
So we notice that in the active sentence, he takes is. But we change it to are in the passive sentence because the object which has become now
plural,
the agent
yes.
is a plural. So the verb to be is according to the object which becomes at the beginning of the sentence. And apples is plural, so we put are. Apples are being eaten. Yes. Again, if we have a
If we
name,
know, for example, Tom is eating apples, the same way we write apples, the object, at the beginning of the sentence. Then we put are plus being, and the verb becomes in the past participle becomes eaten. So apples are being eaten, and because we know the doer of the sentence, we write by Tom. So apples are being eaten by Tom.
thank you so much. And I can tell our dear students that all tenses go the same way. We put the object at the beginning and the verb goes to verb 3 or past participle. Between them we use verb to be.
Verb to be.
In the present simple we used am, is or are. In the past simple we use was or were. Continuous, past continuous or present continuous, we use being after verb to be. The present perfect, we use been after verb to have. And now we come to the grammar of the unit, which is the auxiliary can.
Auxiliary can.
Can
Yes.
and any other auxiliary. Miss Najla, please.
Yes. Passive with can and any modal verb. The same way as we talked before.
Yes.
First, we put the object of the active sentence, of course, at the beginning of the passive sentence. Second, we change the main verb of the active sentence into past participle of the third verb.
Yes.
Thirdly, between them, we put be after can, because after modals, we know we have to use the infinitive form of any verb.
Yes.
Or any other modal verb.
Yes. So it is verb to be,
Yes.
which is used for the passive. And since can is a modal and takes infinitive form,
After, yes.
we use be after can.
Yes.
Mr. Abdul Munim Al-Amin, please give us some questions from the book in the
Examples,
passive voice.
yes.
Examples.
For example, he can eat.
Before that, yes,
Yes.
he can eat apples.
He can eat apples. We look at the sentence. The object is apples. We write it at the beginning of the sentence. Then we put the auxiliary verb, it is can, apples can. Then we add be. Then we change the verb into past participle. It becomes eaten. So apples can be eaten. So, and the same way, here in this sentence, the doer or the subject is not known, so we don't write by. But if it is known, as in this example, Tom can eat apples, becomes apples can be eaten by Tom.
Well, thank you. Now, I want just to tell our dear students that we used here he and apples with the present simple passive and the present continuous passive.
Passive.
And after can, just to show them that it is the same way to change. Apples remains the same, it comes at the beginning, and the verb eat
Becomes
goes
eaten.
to past
three.
participle, and between them we use verb to be according to the object, even with can. But if it was another sentence, it is the same. For example, he can ride cars. He can ride or drive cars. He can drive cars. Cars will become at the beginning,
Yes.
and he can, it is a modal, it's going to be after cars, can be driven.
Yes.
Cars can be driven.
Third form.
So any sentence, the same way, we put the object to be at the beginning, the verb goes to verb 3, and then we use, if the agent is known, we put it at the end, preceded with by. Now, Miss Najla,
Yes.
if we go to the questions from the book in the passive voice.
Yes. So here we have some questions on how to make questions if we have passive voice. What can be reduced after a volcanic eruption? What can be used? Here we have what is the
Question word.
Yes, the question word. Can, because it is the modal at the beginning, reduced verb 3 after a volcanic eruption. Number 2, what is destroyed by a hurricane? What is destroyed? The same thing is destroyed. It is in the simple present passive, so we put is before the third verb. Yes.
For example,
Yes.
if it is dangers can be reduced, we delete
Yes.
dangers and we put what
Yes.
instead, and we say what can
The
be
answer, yes.
what can be reduced, since can is an auxiliary verb and can be used in the question. What is destroyed by a hurricane? The question, the active one, hurricane destroys a lot of buildings.
A lot
Yes.
of buildings.
In the passive voice, a lot
Cars
of buildings
and- yes.
are destroyed
Yes.
by the hurricane. Now here, since we ask usually about the singular, we said what is destroyed
The
by the
object should be
hurricane?
singular.
Yes, even if the answer is plural.
Plural.
Yes, exactly.
What can be done to resist earth movements? What are tsunamis caused by? The passive sentence here is tsunamis are caused by something.
many reasons.
So, many reasons. We put what at the beginning, and what are tsunamis, because R goes with tsunamis, the plural word, caused by, and what is being developed, this is present continuous passive. Well, we move to exercise 6, page 73. Mr. Abdul Amin.
Okay. Number 1. How tsunami warning systems work. Number 1. An earthquake is
detected.
is detected
Is
by
detected.
special stations in the region.
So this is passive.
Yes.
It's
Since
passive.
the earthquake is not the agent and we saw it at the beginning, so it's passive voice.
And we have here by special stations in the region.
Yes.
Yes. Number 2, if the earthquake is about 7.5, the first tsunami warning is sent out.
Is sent.
Because-
Sent goes to verb 3.
Yes, exactly. And
we
it's,
use is.
tsunami warning is a singular, so we use is. The
Okay.
following one.
Number 3. Messages from stations on the seabed near the earthquake center are checked.
Are checked.
Yes.
Here we put are instead of is because messages are in the plural
Yes.
form. So
Exactly.
are checked for signs of a tsunami.
Yes.
Yes. Ms. Najla.
Yes, the following one. If a tsunami is detected, the station sends out a warning. Radio, TV, sirens, or text messages can be used.
Yes.
So here we have two verbs, detect and can, with use, modal with zero form of the verb.
Yes. Now we come to the past passive.
Yes.
Grammar in context, page 75. As we mentioned, no difference.
No difference.
The
Yes.
object is going to be at the beginning. The verb goes to past participle, or as Ms. Najla says, verb 3. And between them, we use verb to be. In the passive, we use was or were.
Yes.
Ms. Najla,
So do we have to repeat them? So the same way, the object comes at the beginning, the main verb changes into past participle. Between them we put was or were. It's according to the new object at the beginning of the sentence, and the past simple passive is formed, of course, by these steps.
well, we have a question. How was the young
Man,
man on the lake rescued? It's
Yes.
a question in the passive. Yes,
Okay.
Mr.
Yes.
Amin.
The young man was seen by two French tourists.
So the active sentence here is two French
two French
tourists.
tourists.
So-
So
the
is
young
the
man.
young man. Yes.
Yes.
Since it's past, we say
two French tourists saw the young man.
now
yes.
the young man
Was
seen.
Yes.
Since
Yes.
it is so simple past, we use was between the object and verb
And
3
because
was
the young
seen.
man is singular, so we
And
use,
here the
Yes.
two French people tourists are important, so we put them.
yes, they are
the
the
end.
subject of the sentence. They are the doers.
Exactly, yes.
And a text message was sent by them. Them means the two French tourists.
Yes.
So, and the object is a text message. So when we want to make that sentence in the passive, we put it in at the beginning.
Yes.
A text message was sent by them to a friend in France. This is the full of the sentence.
Yes.
Then the message was passed on the Scottish Coast Guards. Then again, the object is the message. The verb is passed. It becomes was passed, and the
completion, yes.
the complement of the sentence is to the Scottish Coast Guard.
Coast Guard.
Boats were sent out.
Actually, the Coast Guards sent
Because when they
was-
got the message,
Yes.
they sent.
So the active sentence is the Coast Guard sent.
Yes.
Sent
Boats.
boats, and it becomes boats
Were.
were sent. But because boats is plural, we
Yes.
put it in the where, verb where. Boats were sent out, and he was rescued.
He was rescued. People, or maybe the guards, rescued in the simple past. So the man was, he was
Rescued.
Rescued him or the young man, both are
yes.
Accepted.
acceptable.
Yes.
Now, the same way, the object comes to the beginning of the sentence. The main verb changes into past participle. Between them, we put was or were according to the object, and the past simple passive is formed. We come again to Grammar in Context, page 75, past passives. We want now to clarify how we changed. The young man
The young man was rescued.
was rescued.
It's affirmative sentence, as you see, dear students. And the question is, how was the young man rescued?
So we know in grammar we have
Yes.
affirmative case, the
And
positive
we have
case.
the question
We have the question form and the negative.
form.
Now, so the young man was rescued is affirmative.
Yes.
To make it a question,
Yes, we put how, which is the WH word to make question. We put was, the auxiliary verb at the beginning, then the subject, the young man. After them, we use rescued, the third form of the verb. The following one, boats were sent out to rescue the young.
this is the answer. The
Yeah,
answer to
yes.
question how was the young man rescued?
Yes.
Boats were sent.
So, boats were sent. It is they sent boats.
Boats.
And now we make it boats were sent out. Why? To rescue the young man.
Yes.
Now,
Okay.
The
the following
climbers-
one.
Okay, the climbers were rescued. This is the
Affirmative.
affirmative. It is an affirmative sentence. Now, when we want to make it a question, first of all, we can write the question word how. It becomes, then we put the verb in the past, how were the climbers. It's the object, and the past participle of the verb is rescued. It becomes as follows. How were the climbers rescued? And the answer
climbers.
is climbers
Yes, climbers.
rescued. The answer is the storm stopped, and then they were rescued.
Rescued.
Now, before we move to vocabulary about jobs in page 77, let's summarize quickly the passive. Miss Najla.
Yes, the passive, as we told to sum up, that we use the passive when we don't know the agent, the doer of the verb, or when we want to focus on the action itself, not who did it.
On the
or-
object, the
Yes,
object.
the object, yes. Now, we have many cases, of course. In all these cases, we use the same steps. First of all, we put the object of the active sentence at the beginning. Then we use the verb to be. In the present, we use is, are, and in the past, we use was and were. After that, we use the third form of the sentence or the past participle form of the verb, After it, if we want to clarify or to mention the doer, we put by, and after it, the subject. Now, with modals, something is different, that after modals we use the zero form of the verb, so here we use be, not is, are, or was and were.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. Now we move, Mr. Abdul Amin, vocabulary jobs, page 77. We have some words. We're going to explain their meanings.
We have mechanic,
Yes, mechanic.
computer programmer. We have electrician. We have soldier. We have dentist. We have journalist.
Yes.
And the definition of these words is as follows. A mechanic is a person who repairs cars.
So a mechanic is a person who repairs cars.
Computer programmer is a person who creates computer software. So he is a person responsible for creating computer software.
Yes, software means the programs.
Programs.
Yes.
We have hardware and software.
Yes.
Electrician. Electrician is a person who designs, installs, and repairs electrical power systems.
Yes.
So he is responsible for electricity in general.
Yes.
Okay. A soldier. A soldier is a person who serves in an army. We can say the Syrian soldiers. Dentist. A dentist is a person who repairs or extracts teeth. So when we have toothache, we go to a dentist.
Yes.
Well,
A journalist.
journalist.
A journalist is a person who writes for newspapers or magazines. He writes essays, topics, and so on.
Ms. Najla, please continue the vocabulary in page 77, police officer.
Yes, the following one, dear students, is police officer is a person who has the power to arrest animals. Okay, so criminals who, examples like thieves, murderers, for example.
Yes.
So they put them in a prison, arrest to put someone in a prison.
In general, bad people.
Yes. Shop assistant is a person who sells in a shop. In a shop, when you want to buy something in a supermarket, for example, in a shop, so the man who sells these things or gives these things to you is the shop assistant. The third job is nurse, is a person who helps doctors and takes care of sick people. Takes care, dear students, means looks after sick
yes.
or ill people.
And nurse can
Help
be a
them.
man
Yes,
and can
or
be
a woman,
woman.
of course. Factory worker is a person who works in a factory. So these people who make things, okay, manufactures things. Fireman is a person who extinguishes or prevents fire, put out fires.
Fireman in America, they say firefighter.
Yes. Now, the following one.
Pilot.
Pilot, yes, is a person who flies a plane.
A plane.
Okay. Lorry driver is a person who drives lorries.
Lorries.
Yes.
Lorries are big trucks. Truck is American.
Yes.
We come to writing in Unit 9. Mr. Abdul Amin.
Write a paragraph about a job you would like to do. In the future, of course. You would like to do in the future.
Yes.
What should it, in every topic,
Let's now give yes general
idea
Advice.
about
advice
writing.
to students how to write a paragraph.
Every topic you are going to write, first of all, you should know what is it going to include. What is the topic about? For example, here the topic is about a job you would like to do. First of all, you should know, you should write the job that you like to do in the future. Then, after that, you should have a short job description. You should describe the job that you like.
Yes.
How is it hard? Is it difficult? Is it easy? What does it contain? Anything that is related to the job. After that, skills and qualities you need. For example, a teacher should know everything about his curriculum, about his texts, anything about the material he is going to deal with. A doctor should know about many illnesses. For example, an engineer should know how to construct buildings and what are the basic things for building.
Yes. So, in general, we want to tell the students that in the final exam of grade 9, they are going to be judged by the correctors according to 5 categories. First one is the task response. If the topic they wrote about is what was in the answer,
related to the
answer, they take the marks of the 50 marks, 10 marks for each category. The 10 marks are given to the student before the corrector continues correcting the topic. Then we come to grammar. The student needs to know how to write sentences grammatically correct, so that in the exam, if you can write a sentence, you can write 2 sentences, 10 sentences are a composition, are a paragraph. So the corrector is going to deduct 1 mark for every grammatical mistake.
Yes.
If you have more than 10 mistakes, no marks are going to be deducted, so because the category grammar takes only 10 marks. 10 marks are allotted to grammar. Then we come to spelling. While practicing, the students needs to learn how to write the words correctly, because in the exam, if he has grammar mistakes or she has grammar mistakes are going to be deducted 1 mark for each grammar mistakes. No more than 10 marks, because the category of spelling takes only 10 marks.
Yes.
Then we come to punctuation. What do we mean by punctuation? Capitalization,
Yes.
and the use of full stop, comma, question mark,
Yes.
or
Exclamation mark, for
So the
example.
student needs to use capitalization and to use question marks, full stops, commas correctly, so that he takes the category of punctuation. Then we come to vocabulary. Does the student uses correct vocabulary? Maybe he writes a word correctly and the grammar is correct, but the word is not for this composition.
Yes.
So
Not suitable. Yes.
this is going to be judged by deducting marks, but to make the students be comfortable, usually the students write the same vocabulary needed and he takes the 10 marks for the vocabulary. Now we move to Unit 10, Journeys. Grammar in context.
Yes.
It's Miss Najla Adbesi's
Yes.
turn.
In Unit 10, dear
about grammar.
students, yes.
Yes.
In Unit 10, dear students, the title is Journeys, and for grammar in context, we are going to talk about the present perfect continuous. For example, the man has been running, Ali has
Miss
been
Najla,
studying.
Before we go
The form?
into the present,
Yes.
let's remind the students with
Okay.
some tenses before the present perfect students. We have the simple present.
Yes.
He
Present.
eats apples, as we
Subject,
mentioned.
verb, object.
He goes to school. She plays
Yes.
volleyball. We have the simple past, which is he played football.
Football.
She played volleyball. We have the present continuous. I am going to school. She is reading a book. We have the past continuous. I was studying all day yesterday. We have the present perfect simple.
Yes.
I have written a letter. She has eaten lunch. Then we come now to our grammar target,
Present.
which is
perfect
present
continuous.
perfect continuous.
Yes.
Yes, please. The floor is yours.
Yes, the form of the present perfect continuous. So here, at the beginning, we use the subject. According the subject, we use have or has.
Yes.
Then we add been, and finally we add ing to the end of the verb. Example, I have been cooking for an hour. Here I'm talking about something that was repeated over duration of time.
Yeah.
All or
So it
for
is, when we
this-
say continuous, it means the use of verb ing.
Yes,
And verb ing usually takes verb to be.
Verb to be.
Verb
exactly.
to be of the verb of the
Is been.
present perfect continuous is going to be been,
Been.
because it is verb 3, the present
Of the
perfect.
verb
Have
to
or
be.
had.
After have and has, as Mr. Abdul says, we use verb 3, so it is been. The man has been running. I have been cooking for
An hour.
an hour.
Yes.
Yes.
Especially in Ramadan.
Yes.
Yes.
For
Especially
an
in
hour and
Ramadan.
maybe more.
Yes.
And we didn't say Happy Ramadan or Ramadan Mubarak to the students. We said
Yes.
it.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan.
Yes.
The question form is, if I want to make a question of an affirmative sentence in the present perfect continuous, so we have to put have or has at the beginning of this sentence, dear students. For example, here, I have been cooking. Have you been cooking for an hour? If we want to ask about time, so we delete the time and use how long.
It's duration.
Yes,
When it is
because
duration.
I'm
Because if it
asking
is
about
exact time, we use when.
duration. Yes.
When we ask about duration, we use how long.
How
Here,
long?
an hour is a duration.
Yes.
How long? Yes.
Yes. How long have you been cooking?
Yes.
Yes. The following one.
Mr. Abdulman Amin.
Okay. The
The
negative
form.
form. Okay. The negative form is by using not, after, have, and has. So if we say, for example, I have been cooking for an hour, the negative form of this sentence is I haven't been cooking for an hour. Another example.
And thank you for saying haven't. It's haven't, yes, as you said. It's not haven't. Usually some students make mistakes saying haven't or doesn't. It's haven't, as you
Haven't.
said, yes.
She hasn't been running. We haven't been painting. So the rule is adding not, after, have, or has.
Yes. Actually, we have another way to use the negative by using never.
Never.
I have never been driving fast like this. So not or never. In both cases, we put not or never after have. If we have more than an auxiliary, we put it after the first auxiliary usually. Grammar in context, the question tags.
Yes.
It's very important
Yes.
to explain the question
final
tags.
exam.
And
Yes.
it's easy.
Yes, it is easy. Mr. Abdul Amin.
Okay. Question tags. A question tag is a short question at the end of a statement. We use the same auxiliary verb if there is one in the sentence. Or we use do, does, or did according to the tense of the sentence.
Because in the simple present,
In the simple present and
past,
simple past, we don't have
yes,
auxiliary verbs.
we don't have an auxiliary verb. We use do,
We use
or
do
does,
or
or
does
did.
in-
does
Instead,
or
yes.
did. If the sentence is positive, the question tag is negative.
Yes,
And if the sentence is negative, the question tag is positive. So we contrast them. If
Yeah.
the sentence is positive, the question tag is negative.
exactly.
And the
And
opposite
to
way.
make it simpler to the students, if we have not, we don't have not in the
Yes.
question
In the
tag.
question
If we
tag.
do not have not, we
Yes,
put not.
exactly.
This is the way
Yes.
So
usually teachers
the
tell
question
students.
tag is always contracted, not full.
Yes, we do not say have you not.
We don't
Usually,
say
haven't you?
I have not or he has not or is not. We say isn't, haven't, hasn't, and so on.
Yes.
Yes.
Miss Najla,
Yes.
give us examples, please.
Yes, here we have some examples, dear students. The first one, you are John. You are John. Here I'm asking for extra information. I want to be sure. Aren't you? As
Aren't
you
you?
can see,
Aren't you?
Yes. As you can see, dear student, we have here you are John is an affirmative, and we make it into negative as Mr. Abdul Munaim said. It isn't
So
like
use the question tags for two ways. Either
Yes.
to ask for more information, or you have the correct answer and you just want to mention it in front of the
emphasize.
listener. Yes, to
Yes.
emphasize.
It is not late, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
because it's negative.
Yes,
it
we
isn't
put
late.
it. So here is
it?
not. Here we have the full form is not, and in the question tag we don't put not, as Mr. Majid said.
I think we have a call, but I can't hear very well. Is there a call?
الو
Hamza from Homs.
اي الو
Yes.
مرحبا استاذ
Hello Hamza, welcome.
استاذ
Yes. I think we lost the connection.
Yes.
We continue.
Yes. I am right.
I am right.
Right. So here we have affirmative, and in the question tag negative not, aren't I?
Aren't I?
Yes. Aren't
We
I?
need to tell the students that I am is not in the question tag.
Aren't.
Yes.
It's aren't.
Yes.
Aren't I?
Aren't I?
Always be careful when it is I am. The question tag of I am is
Aren't.
aren't I?
Aren't I?
And let's, it is shall we.
Shall we?
Let's, shall we? And I am, it's aren't
I.
I.
The following, she is smart. Smart means clever, intelligent.
Yes.
So she is smart. Here we have the sentence affirmative. is affirmative. Now the question tag will be in negative. Isn't she?
Yes.
We are ready to set off, aren't we?
Aren't we?
Yes. The following one.
You haven't done anything,
Have you?
He's been talking for hours, hasn't he? We saw amazing things. Here in this sentence, we don't have auxiliary
Yes,
verb.
yes.
So
Exactly.
we look at the tense of the sentence. It's
Yes.
so in the past, so we use did. And because the sentence is in the positive, the question tag is in the negative.
Yes.
Didn't we?
Thank you so much for saying this. And I think this is the difficult issue for the students when we do not have an auxiliary. They need to know that. They need to look, as Mr. Abdulmam said, if it is present, we use do or does.
Okay.
If it is past,
We
we
use
use
did.
did.
Yes.
Here we saw is past. So we are going to use did. And since it is positive, as you said, the question tag is going to be negative.
And the same.
I think we have another call from Lena, I think. Hello.
هلو
Hello, Lena.
مرحبا أستاذ،
Welcome. How are you?
كيف صحة؟ إن شاء الله بخير، يعطيكم العافية.
Thank God. Welcome.
والله يعني بدنا نعرف إنه يعني طريقة الأسئلة هاي السنة كيف راح تكون إن شاء الله مثل السنوات اللي قبل ممكن نستفيد. طريقة تدريسنا لأولادنا كيف بدها تعتمد بالمواضيع بالنصوص. كتير شاغل بالنا فكرة النصوص إنه الطالب عنا كيف بده يحفظ. هلا كيف بده يحفظ الكلمات؟ بأي طريقة يحفظها كتابة يعني؟
Thank you. Thank you. We received your question. We're going to answer you. This year, the exam paper is going to be the same as last year. The same exam paper like last year. The students need to start studying from the beginning of the year. Yes, the new vocabulary, they need to learn by heart the meaning and how to write it. The meaning of the vocabulary, the
spelling,
meaning of the
yes.
word, and the spelling, how to write it, and to learn the text reading, the text of reading, so that they answer the comprehension questions. And the grammar of every unit, they need to study the grammar, as we are helping now here to explain the grammar. And why should they learn the meaning and the spelling? The meaning to answer the questions of the reading exercises,
Text.
and the writing for writing the composition. The same composition question is going to be the same. They are going to have two topics to choose
topics.
one. Either one topic to answer. Same like last year, no change for this year. We don't know in the future. We hope all our students be ready for the exam and not to panic. It's not going to be different. If they know the exam paper of last year and the previous years, it's going to be the same way. But how to study? Read the text, learn the meaning of the words for you to know, to understand what's going. If you don't know a meaning of a word, you can elicit, you can know the meaning from the whole sentence,
Yes.
because in the end, the question can be answered if you understand
The whole passage.
the part of the text which is connected to the question. So if you don't understand one word or two words, it's not a problem, because you are going to be able to answer. And you need to learn how to write the words, because when you write a paragraph, you need to write correctly, grammatically correctly, and for spelling correctly. Any other questions? Okay. Let's continue. You were telling
Okay.
us.
Now, grammar in context, question tags. Let's see this example. You know where they are going. Now, the subject is you, and here we have no. It's in the simple present, so we don't have auxiliary here in this sentence. Because you takes do, the you know is in the positive, don't in the negative, and the subject is you, it becomes don't you.
Yes. So here we didn't use did because it is present.
It's a present.
No is present,
A present.
and you takes do.
Do.
Don't you?
Positive becomes negative.
Negative. Thank you so much for
Okay.
clarifying this.
Mr.
Yes.
Nila.
The second example, dear students, Andrew knows where they are going. Doesn't
Andrew
he?
takes does.
Yes, Andrew takes does, and the whole sentence is an affirmative, and so we use the negative form of
And we
question
can know
tag.
from the verb knows that
Yes,
it
we
is
have
simple
S.
present.
Yes, we have S, so it is simple present. We use does, but in the negative form.
Yes.
You heard a noise.
You heard a
You
noise.
heard a noise.
Is it
Here
present?
It is in the simple past.
Simple past.
So
yes.
we know the tense that is simple past, so we use did. But because the sentence is affirmative, so we use did not you
Yes.
or didn't you. Yes.
Here in this sentence, for example, she isn't at home.
She isn't at home.
Here we have verb to be isn't in the negative form. We write it in the positive form is she.
So-
Here I have something to say.
Yeah, please.
For example, if I say Salma isn't at home, here we have the subject is Salma, but in the question tag we write it is she.
Thank you
Now
so
we
much.
don't write is Salma.
Yes, yes.
The suitable pronoun.
So we
Only pronouns.
only pronouns. So
The
in the
question-
question
thank you
tag
very
write
much.
only pronouns, not nouns.
Thank
Okay.
you very much for this clarification.
Okay, they can't contact us.
Just one thing.
Okay.
As we said at the beginning, here we have is, we use it in the question tag. We don't change the auxiliary.
We don't change
The
it.
same auxiliary in the sentence, we use it. Only when we do not have an auxiliary, we use do or does
Yes.
or did.
Or did.
Continue, please.
They can't contact us. Here we have auxiliary verb can't. It's in the negative form. We change it into positive form, it becomes can. Then we put the subject they, it becomes can they.
Can they? So they can't contact us. Can they?
Can they? The last one?
He can swim very well. Can here is the model, and
Yes.
it is in present, of course, and it is a model, so we can use it in the question tag.
course.
So the sentence is affirmative. We use can in negative way. Can't he?
Exactly. The Silk Road,
Yes.
the text of Unit 10 is the Silk Road. We are going to talk about some vocabulary in the reading text.
Yes.
Mr. Al-Amin,
First of all, the Silk Road means silk is a kind of a material that we use it to make clothes.
yes,
Yes.
very soft material.
Very
to
soft
make
material,
clothes.
and it's very expensive.
Yes.
They started it in China.
Yes,
in China.
actually it is made by worms,
Worms,
Yeah.
called silkworms.
silkworms. Now let's go to vocabulary. Destination. What's its destination?
What is the meaning of destination?
Yes.
What do we mean when we say
Yes.
what is, if I ask you, where is your destination, or what is your
It
destination?
means where I want to go. It's the
Exactly.
place you aim or you want to go to.
Yes,
Ancient. Ancient means very old.
yes,
But we don't say ancient man.
yes, of
Yes,
course.
Yes.
we
Old
don't
man.
say ancient man. We say an old man.
Yes.
Yes.
Ancient city, for example.
Incredible. Something which is incredible, it's too extraordinary. It's not
Yes.
usual.
Cannot be
It's over
believed.
usual.
Cannot be believed.
Unbelievable.
Sometimes it's very
Yes.
amazing.
Very
Incredible.
amazing.
And-
Yes, miss?
Yes. Demand something that somebody needs.
Yes,
The following one, merchant, a person who buys and sells goods in large quantities. As you know, dear student, buys, sells are opposites. Buy to take something and sell to give something for money.
in the text they have, because the demand of silk was very
Yes.
big,
The need,
it
yes.
means the need. People need it. So, and not only needed, they asked for it.
Yes.
When I demand for something, I ask for it. I want it, I need it, and I ask for it. So that's why the Silk Road started from China to
Europe.
Europe. We have questions in the text,
Yes.
and we're going to ask and answer about them. You
Yes.
want to start the first
Yes, if you like. Now, would you please, dear students, follow us? Question number 1. How long is the Silk Road? How long? So, how long we use it to talk about the distance, okay? So, it is 7,000 kilometers.
7,000 kilometers, yes.
Yes, Mr. Abdelmanan?
Okay. What regions did the Silk Road cross?
What
we are
regions did the Silk Road
here
cross?
we are asking about the regions of the Silkworm.
The areas, the places,
Silk
the
Road,
cities,
okay.
yes.
It linked China, Central Asia, northern India, then the Persian and Roman empires.
Yes.
So it took a long way,
Yes.
a long way to cross from China to the Roman Empire.
China, Central Asia, Northern India, then the Persian and Roman empires. Very long road.
Way, yes.
Miss Najla.
Yes, the following question, dear students. What were the dangers of the Silk Road? Dangers means something or risk, okay?
Yes.
When you face or encounter risks. Answer is the Taklamanikon Desert and the Himalayan mountains.
These
So
were
these two
dangerous
places were very
places.
dangerous.
Yes.
Then,
Mr. Abdulman Amin.
here we have this question. Why did people start using the Silk Road? The answer is, when we have the question word why, we generally start the answer with because. Because only China produced silk, and the demand for silk linked between East and West. So the only country that produced silk is China, and the other reason is the full demand for silk linked between East and West. The people needed silk to do and to make clothes and many other things.
Now, Miss Najla, what
Yes.
goods were
What
given?
goods were given and taken? So what things were to buy and sell? Okay, the Chinese gave their silk and spices to India, Europe, and Eastern Mediterranean. In return, they took silver, precious stones, gold, and horses.
So the Chinese brought silk and
Yes.
spices to India and Europe and the Eastern Mediterranean. They give what? Silk,
And spices.
spices.
And spices,
In return, they took silver,
Yes.
Precious
precious
stones,
stones,
They bought.
gold and
Yes,
horses.
they bought. This means that they sold silk and the spices, and bought precious stones, gold, horses, and silver.
Of course, they wanted the precious stones, gold, in order to buy and sell things, and
Yes.
they needed horses in order to help them in their work.
yes. Actually, what is taken by someone is given by another one, and the vice versa.
Yes,
course.
So this is
exchange.
given and taken.
That's a change.
Before we wrap up, we're going to summarize the grammar, and we're going to give advices. Slides are up. We're going to wrap up. At the beginning, we talked about the passive.
Passive.
Miss Najla, would you like to talk again about the
Again,
passive so that
yes, of course.
it is very clear for the students?
Yes, thank you. Now the passive, we use it to change the sentence from the active. So we have a sentence in active, we have to change it into passive. When do we use passive? When we don't know the agent or the doer of the action, or when we don't focus on the action, it's on the doer, but we want to focus on the action itself. The steps are the same in the simple present passive, simple past passive. We have the same thing to do. We put the object of the sentence or of the active sentence at the beginning, then we use in the present we use is, are, and in the simple past we use was, were. After them we use the third form of the verb, and if we want to clarify or to mention the doer, we use put it after by. If we have a modal, dear students, be attentive that after modal we use be, then we use the third form of the verb.
Thank you. Let's give some examples in the present simple.
For
passive.
example, Tom reads books.
Yes,
This is in the active form.
yes,
The object is books. The verb is read becomes read.
Correct.
Books are read by Tom because the doer of the action is known.
Is known,
He
we
is
put
Tom.
it.
This is the simple present, passive present. Now what about the past tense? For example, Lubna ate 2 apples. 2 apples, here is the object, and the object is a plural.
Yes.
Where, and the past participle of the verb is eaten. So 2 apples are eaten and because the subject is known, we say by Lubna. This is for the past simple. What about the present continuous? For example, my father is driving the car. My father is driving the car. The object is the car. And because it's singular, we say is. Then we add being. Then we put the verb in the past participle. It becomes driven. So it becomes the car is driven by, is being driven by my father.
Yeah.
And what about the past continuous? Okay.
Okay.
She was reading a book. A book was being read. Because the subject is not known, so we put full stop.
Although the past continuous is not in our unit
Okay.
here, but it's okay.
Further information.
Now, since I said at the beginning we used apples and eat so that they know, now I'm going to give extra examples. For example, they are building a new house. They are building a new house. Instead of they are eating apples, they are
building a new house.
The same way, the object is a new house.
A new house is.
As we took apples to the beginning, we take a new house to the beginning.
Yes, exactly.
The verb is building is going to go to verb 3, built.
Built.
Is
Between them,
Yes.
house is singular, so it takes is.
not are.
We put being after it, and it is a house is being built.
Built.
If we write by them, it's not wrong, but we don't need to write by them because it's not important. But if it was Syrian engineers are building a new dam or a
Yes.
new bridge, here Syrian engineers, not French ones, not other
Specific people, yes.
people.
Noon.
Here we are going to put it at the end. Syrian engineers are building a new bridge. A new bridge is being built by Syrian engineers.
Yes,
Is
exactly.
being built by Syrian engineers. Now let's summarize the question tags.
Yes.
As we said, we use question tags for two cases, either for extra information or to emphasize, right?
Yeah.
The difference is only in the tone of the speaker,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Who wants to say or want me to say it?
It is no problem.
okay.
So, dear students, we use question tags, as Mr. Majid said, either to add extra information or to sometimes to ask for something politely or to emphasize the meaning. For example, the most important thing you have to put in mind, dear students, that any question or any affirmative sentence, we want to make a question tag related to it. We have to make contrast in affirmative and negative case. So if the original sentence is negative, we put the question tag into affirmative and vice versa. Now, for example, if we look at the sentence, if we have an auxiliary verb, we use the same auxiliary, okay? Then we put the pronoun related to the subject of the original sentence. For example, he is eating.
Okay.
Is he eating?
Yes, yes, good. Thank you so much. I have an exercise in the book. It is this
Which one, please?
this painting. I'm going to read it.
Yes.
It's very easy to done. I'm just going to help the students how to answer questions of the book. This painting, we have a painting in front of us. This painting, then we have a space. It is page 49. This painting, I have a painting, maybe I am in an exhibition. We have the verb 3, painted. Painted, and we have space between them. We are going as students to fill in the space. The painting is the object, painted is verb 3, and we have by Mozart.
Yes.
I can see very well. And we have the date in the 19th
Century, yes.
As a student, I need to know, am I going to use present or past? From the time mentioned, 19th century, I know
we
it
noticed
is
that
past.
it is past. Yes, of course.
So,
19th
the
century.
verb to be, which is going to be
was.
was.
Yes.
This painting was
Painted by
By
Monet.
Monet.
Yeah, and we have three choices. We have is, was, or being.
Yes.
Of course, it is
Was, because
Was.
it's in the past.
the ancient pyramids. Here we have a plural one.
Yes.
The ancient pyramids. Built is the past participle by the Egyptians.
Yes.
So we have the pyramids and built by the Egyptians.
Yes.
Again, it's not.
Something
Now,
in
it's
present.
not in the
It
present,
is
in
it
the
was
current.
in the past.
past. Yes.
It's in the past.
So we,
We
have
have
to
where,
use
are
where.
being, and are.
Where?
Yes. Where.
Were built. It is simple past, so it's going to be where. If we have to wrap up again, dear students, don't worry, don't panic. Exam paper is very easy. Just you need to know the meaning of the words. You need to know how to write the words for the composition.
Exactly. Yes.
If you understand the meaning of the words, you can answer the reading exercises. If you know the grammar mentioned in the book and in the exam, dear students, the exam question is going to be easier than
The book.
now in the book, because you have multiple choices, you have brackets to choose between them, and usually you don't have two correct answers. You have one correct and one wrong, and it is easy to choose the correct answer. As a last advice, Ms. Najla,
Yes,
What
I
would
would
you like?
I would like to advise my students in the 9th grade, first of all, to be calm, quiet, don't be nervous, okay? The second thing, please try to put a program, timetable for your studying. In the exam, try to use simple words, and if you want to use a word which is for spelling you are not sure of, try to find an alternative word
Yes,
which
another
is
word from
similar,
the
and
same
you
meaning.
are confident that you know how to write it correctly.
sometimes
Thank
he
you.
can write a sentence instead of a difficult word.
Yes, exactly, but with easier
For
words.
example, you don't know how to write destination, you
Yes.
can write the place you want
the
to
place
go to.
I
So
want to go
you can
to.
change it
yes.
to the sentence.
Yes.
Mr. Abdul Amin,
Okay.
would you like to add anything?
Dear students, I advise you to read the paragraphs before you start answering any question. Read the questions, read the answers, and which are in the text, in the page, in the exam, and choose the one which is the correct one. Don't be nervous, as Miss Najla said, and I wish you all the best, and thank you.
And try not to read the whole exam questions before you
Yes.
do it.
Paper. Yes.
Read one by one.
One by one.
When you do not know the answer to the first one, now go to number 2 and to number 3, and before the end you can come back
To it.
to the questions you didn't answer. At the end, allow me to thank my colleagues in the studio, Miss Najla Al-Dbesi, English language teacher, Damascus Countryside Directorate,
Thank you.
Mr. Abdul Al-Amin, English language supervisor, Aleppo Directorate,
Thank you.
and very big wishes, nice wishes to you from me. I am Abdul Majid Ogorli, Senior Supervisor and Coordinator of English Language. Wish you good luck. Thank you and bye-bye.